Okay, in this video I'm going to show you the solution to problem number 5 shown here. And I've already written it out so as to keep the video a little bit shorter. The problems, I think I'll solve 5 and 6 here. Okay, so this is 3 types of functions, the f's, g's, and h's. Okay, and f maps the set A to the set B, G maps from B to C, and H maps from C to D. And it looks like we're missing a little bit of the domain of G right here. So I'm supposed to have the domain of G here, which is the set B, which is the range of the set F, and so it contains elements X, Y, and Z. And I think I said assume all elements of each set appear in the above tables. And so there isn't any, for instance, a W in the set B. And so the set B is really just X, Y, and Z, and I think that it's an X here, and a Y here, and a Z there. Okay? And so you can see here how I've defined 9 different F functions. I've defined 9 different G functions and 8 different H functions. Okay, and I'm asking you to, first of all, in part A, write out the sets A, B, C, and D, and then in parts B, C, and D, we're looking at some function compositions: G4 and F4, H3 and G4, and here's a triple function composition. Okay, so here's a picture down here below of the 4 sets A, B, C, and D. And it shows how the functions f, g, h map those sets to each other. Okay? And so all of the f functions have a domain A and have a range of B, for example. So all the f functions are mapping from A to B. And if I do a function composition of f and g, I'm going to get g composed with f, and it's going to map from A to C. If I compose a g function with an h function, it's going to be an h of g, and it's going to map from B to D, as shown here. Okay. Finally, if I compose an f, a g, and an h, it's going to map all the way from A to D, as shown in red here. Okay. So that's the idea. And to get started, we're going to look at the first column of the f functions table, and that's going to be the range of the f functions, which is A. So the set A is little a, b, and c, as shown here. The set B is the domain of the g functions, which is the x, y, z. There it is. C has a range. C is the range for the h functions, and that is alpha, beta, gamma. And finally, the set D is the range of the h functions, which is apparently 0 and 1. All right. So that's part A. And in part B, what I'm going to do here is I'm copying down, in part B, I want to do a function composition of G4 composed with F4. So what I'm going to do is just copy down G and F, G4 and F4 here. F4 is X, Y, X, with the domain A, B, C. G4 is alpha, beta, alpha, with the domain X, Y, Z. Okay, and I can create the composition G4 of F4. And so it's G4 of F4 of A, G4 of F4 of B, G4 of F4 of C. And F4 of A is X, F4 of B is Y, and F4 of C is X. And then I evaluate G4 of X excuse me, is alpha, G4 of Y is beta, and G4 of X again is alpha. So this function, G4 of F4, is alpha, beta, alpha. Okay. For part C, I'm composing H3 and G4. And I'm going to copy H3 and G4 down here, okay, with their domains on the left column, and form the composition again here. H3 of G4 of X, Y, and Z becomes H3 of alpha, beta, alpha, because G4 of X is alpha, G4 of Y is beta, and G4 of Z is alpha. Finally, it evaluates to 0, 1, 0. Next, part D is the triple composition of H6, G4, and F4. And they're in this order because when I write this function down, it's going to operate on an X over here to the right. And so I'm going to operate with F4 first, then G4, then H. And that makes sense. I apply F, then G, then H here in the diagram. Okay, so again, I'm going to copy down. Let's see, I needed F4 and G4. I've got them here, F4, G4. So I copy down H6, and I just make this great big expression, H6 of G4, of F4, of, and then I do that of A, B, and C. Evaluate the F4 of A, B, and C. F4 of A, B, and C was X, Y, X, X, Y, X. Now I have G4 of X and Y, which is alpha and beta, alpha, beta, alpha. Finally, H6 of alpha and beta is 1 and 0. And there they are, 1, 0, 1. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here's an illustration of that function composition of all three. A is the set A, B, and C. B has X, Y, and Z in it. C has alpha, beta, gamma in it, and D has 0, 1 in it. And I've sketched out here the functions F4. The function from B to C is G4, and the function from C to D is H6 in this case. Okay? And this is what they look like with the arrows, and so you can see that starting with A, I'm going to follow this through, and I'm going to get a 1. A goes to 1. B follows through and goes to 0. There it is. And C follows through and goes to 1. And that agrees with my analysis above. So you can do it pictorially even. Finally, let's see here. I haven't done problem 6, but I'll leave the video here with problem 5. Hope that helps.